Welcome back, everyone. This is the Victory Podcast, and I'm your host, Steve McGrath. This week, I'm pleased to bring you our conversation with Brandon Tate. Now, Brandon has had a 9-year career in the NFL, but he'll be up front with you and tell you he's looking to start year 10 this season. We wish him the best in his journey to do so, but he talks to us about the previous 9 years, from his time at UNC, being a dynamic player, great returner, getting drafted by the Patriots, developing as a wide receiver, his whole story brought to you exclusively with us. But first, I have to remind you all that we're brought to you by Team Builder. Team Builder provides strength and conditioning software to more than 500 high school football programs nationwide, as well as the NFL. So whether you write your own programs, have a full-time strength coach, or you need training programs, Team Builder can make your weight room more efficient, more accountable, and smarter when it comes to measuring your team's progress. Team Builder is still offering their free 10-week spread offense tempo training program when you start a 14-day free trial at teambuilder.com using our promo code VICTORY. So, without any further ado now, here's our conversation with Brandon Tate. Boom. We got Brandon Tate in the house today. Brandon, how's it going, man?
Oh man, I'm doing just fine, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, the pleasure is all ours. The most athletic punt kick returner, maybe overall athlete that we've had here. So, it's not every day that we get to talk to someone that has taken it to the house as many times as you have. And, just preparing for this, to see the highlights, I mean, something special on the field. And, before we get into those playing days, I was looking in high school, you seemed like you were a pretty good basketball player. You defensive back, wide receiver. You're obviously a very talented young athlete. Can you take us back to when you were 16, 17, 18? Do you remember thinking that professional football was going to be in your future? Do you at all just recall what was going through your head back then?
Oh yeah, man. I remember when I was a kid, probably like 10 or 11 years old, I was telling my mother that I was going to the league. Whether it was basketball or football, I used to tell her that. But like coming from where I'm from, my hometown, Burlington, North Carolina, nobody has never made it, let alone probably graduated or made it through the college era. So, with me saying that, they didn't believe. They was like, well, some people around here, they ain't really made it. I said, Mom, I'm going to the league. I ain't know which one it was going to be, but I told her I'm going to the league.
Love it. Love the confidence. And obviously you showed her right. Okay. Well, to get to the league, though, you had to play college ball first. How did you decide, football over basketball, and ultimately why UNC?
Well, I'm originally from North Carolina, so when UNC gave me that scholarship, to me it was a no-brainer. It was only probably 30 minutes or 25 minutes from my hometown, so there was a chance for my people to come see me. So, like I said, man, just being from North Carolina, man, I already bleed blue, so it was only right for me to make that decision.
That's so cool. Now, just do me a favor if you could. Can you paint me a picture, man? Regardless of what level that you're playing at, what's it like back there? Kick returning, punt returning. You got 10 guys in front of you that are going to do their damn best to help stop the 11 trying to kill you, but it's just you and the ball. What's going through your mind when you're sitting back there getting yourself ready? And then how does that change the second that the ball snapped?
I mean, you definitely gotta have like that killer instinct mindset, man. You gotta be fearless back there, and you gotta put the trust in the other 10 guys, because without them, it wouldn't be no me. So we all just in practice and all that, just always get on one page and just try to do everything on like one accord.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon, you gotta be a little bit sick in the head to catch punts in the NFL, right? Because I mean, you got all those
guys
you gotta
flying down. Hey, you got to.
Can you talk a little bit about? Yeah, can you talk a little bit about just your preparation in catching punts? We'll start in the punt game. We'll get in the kickoff return game in a minute, but let's start with the punt game and your weekly preparation going into games. What are you looking at as far as guys getting downfield? Is it the gunner speed, their releases? I mean, what's actually going into game prep for you?
Yeah, with game prep, what I usually do, first of all, as far as film, watch to see how fast the gunners are, to see which one probably gonna be the fastest one down the field first, and then I always look into the interior to see which at least one of those guys gonna probably be the fastest ones, and I always tell my guys, the one I trust to block the best, look, make sure you get him and get him. Everybody else, I make them miss. So I don't think these like that one or two key blocks, man, and that's all you pretty much need right there.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about the punter prep? I mean, do you just see what kind of balls he's usually kicking when he's on the right hash, left hash? I mean, how much work goes into actually studying the punter?
Yeah. First of all, you got to see what foot he is. So if you right foot, left foot, the ball, it spins differently. You got to know that. Like you said, what hash he kick it from and the angle he take, the steps back, just the way his shoulders turn, that'll determine which way he going before he kick it. So just a lot of indicators will let you know a lot of things before pre-snap.
Mm-hmm. And then just diving into the kick return game, where you were prolific in that as well. What goes into that as far as your game plan prep? Because now it's a little bit less. Everything's static now. Everyone's got to wait 5 yards from the kick. You can't get a running start anymore. So the rules have changed a little bit. But how has your prep changed when you were playing? Maybe from the beginning of your career towards the end of your career.
At the beginning, man, like I said, I was wild and furious. I'm telling them I'm returning everything. If it don't go out of bounds, I'm breaking it out. So basically, man, just have your unit ready to block at all times. And as far as the preparation, like on film, I always look for that one guy who always be undisciplined or maybe like running out of his lanes. So me and the coach will always make sure we definitely gonna attack him because he's definitely undisciplined. Kickoff is all about staying in your lane. So if you just get that one or two guys run out that lane, they're right there open up a big hole for you.
Yeah, and Steve and I were talking about that before the show, actually. If all guys run their lanes in a perfect world, right, there's nowhere to run, but you get that one guy who veers off 2 yards this way, and then this guy veers off 2 yards this way. We just open a 4-yard hole for you, right?
Exactly.
And that's where you're able to bust right through. So
exactly.
I mean, from a coach's theory, it sounds perfect, but I mean, in our runner's world theory, it's very hard to find that hole. But
right.
So you're looking for the undisciplined guy and the guy that's veering off of his lane.
Yep. And back then, in college, it was like a 3-man wedge, but as we got to the NFL, they changed to like the 2-man wedge. So that right there was a big adjustment too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the games all changed, the rules all changed too. Mm-hmm. And my last question here, before I pass it back to Steve, is can you talk a little bit about you were able to play for Belichick, who's one of the greats, and his special team and his approach to special teams. Can you talk a little bit about your time in New England and how the Patriots approach the special teams?
The way they approach it, man, special team is like it's part of the game, which it is, but I'm saying the way they approach it, it's a real play, it's no plays off. So just as much as he put into the offensive defense, special teams is just as important because a lot of games are won off special teams because those are points you can't really account for.
So ultimately, then is it really just about making sure that all 11 guys on special teams, it's the discipline. It's not so much strategy or X's and O's, and we're going to do this crazy thing that's so different. It's just about discipline and everyone doing their job. I mean, when it comes down to it, is that really the key ingredient?
Oh, yeah, like I said, it's about strategy too, but it's also about being, like you said, being real disciplined and just carrying out your assignment. Don't try to be a hero and do too much. Just do your job.
Got it. Yeah. All right. Well, I know we're talking a little bit about the Patriots there, but I just want to take it back a couple steps because to get to play with the Patriots, you're one of few true freshmen to come in and you're playing right away at UNC. You're returning kicks, and as time goes on, they work you a little bit into the playing receiver as well. What was it like for you? Because you're, again, multi-talented athlete in high school. I think you even played a little defensive back maybe as well. Mm-hmm. How did you really grow into becoming a wide receiver and split your time between trying to be the best return man while also learning this new skill set and learning, the offense at a collegiate level?
Well, in high school, most of the time, if you're a receiver, you're pretty much going to be safety or DB, 9 times out of 10. But, defense wasn't really my thing. It was just something the coach, he really made me do that. I ain't want to tackle nobody, man. I want to score touchdowns, But yeah, man, it was just one of those things where I always had a knack for just making people miss. And I as far as special team, it's something that I always wanted to do. You can't find too many people who really want to do that. But I was one of the very rare dudes who really wanted to do that. So I told the coach, just put me in, man, and it worked out for me.
Now, I mean, maybe this is a dumb question, but since I've never had the speed that you have, I don't really know. When you're running, whether it's kickoff or punt return, are you looking more so where's the gap that I can hit, or is it more so who are the guys that I need to beat and I want to make them miss? Is it running to the daylight, or is it kind of isolating the guy that you want to beat?
Well, hold on, let me step out right quick. when it comes down to that, it's about making a guy miss, and then you can't do too many juke moves. You just gotta make a move and go. Basically, try to go north and south.
Gotcha. All right, so you continue your progression through your time at UNC. But by the time you're done, man, I mean, just getting into your senior year, you end up with the most ridiculous game against McNeese State, where you almost have 400 all-purpose yards. You end up getting to the 1,000 punt return, 1,000 kick return, total yards. I mean, you're the ACC all-time leader in kickoff returns and yardage. So you're getting all these accolades. I'm sure you're thinking about the NFL. When you're having all that success, how do you deal with having a significant injury like an ACL tear and then having to sort of rebuild yourself and then mentally get back to that level where you're ready to compete again?
Well, yeah, when that first happened, man, it was definitely hard for me mentally. Being so young, never been like injured like that before. It was definitely hard for me mentally, but I had a good supporting cast around me: coaches, parents, friends, family, stuff like that kept me upbeat. Plus, I had a son too, so just watching him every day just gave me motivation to go attack the rehab and get back on the field as quick as possible.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, by the time you get to the NFL, then, you're kind of used to now having to work through these mental hurdles. When you got to the Patriots and you had to learn an offense that was, I'm sure more sophisticated than, what you had at the college level just because it's in the NFL, how did you then sort of up your game again? Because now mentally you had to get back, and your rookie year, right, you did have a knee injury as well. But your second year, you put up some good numbers as a receiver for considering it's your first time really playing and getting at that position at that level. Plus also the kick return touchdowns that you're getting at the same time. What was that adjustment like for you?
Well, whenever you got a quarterback like Tom Brady, it ain't that. It's kind of easy, because Tom he known to put people in the best situation, But it was definitely a big adjustment for me. But I always knew I could be a receiver, but I was always labeled as a special teamer, because I guess I was good at that. But I knew I could play receiver, and Patriots was the chance where I got to show everybody what I could do. And like I said, with a quarterback like Tom, he definitely made it easy for me.
I know it's easy, I can imagine with Tom, but so many receivers, veteran guys would come to the Patriots, whether it's Chad Johnson, Reggie Wayne, guys that, are Hall of Fame bound or, if not Hall of Very Good, and they can't pick it up. So, I mean, it's a testament to you that you were able to pick it up and get out there in a way that these greats never could. So, I mean.
Yeah, the thing I tell people, the thing about this is just my personal opinion. With the Patriots, you got to be young and come up in the system. Like, if you've been somewhere else for like 8, 9 years, it's going to be kind of hard adjustment because they practice. It's a little different, too. It's like the practice is like a game, Bill don't really let people mess up that much. It's like a game. So, my opinion, I feel like you got to be like a rookie or second-year player and come up in the system to be able to adjust.
So for someone like Demaryius Thomas that just signs with the Patriots, what's one piece of advice you could tell him? Just pretty much hit the erase button?
Yeah, you might just hit the erase button, man. And just you got to start talking their language. Like you might call it a certain route one thing, but they call it something else. So you just got to talk their language, hit the reset button, and just go out, just start all over, man.
Cool. Now, I just want to hit on real quick that your end of your tenure with the Patriots, because it looks like you're just about to start year 3, and they ended up releasing you. And of course, you go on to have a great career anyway. But do you remember what that was like? How you found out? Were you surprised? Like, what were the circumstances around that? Because on paper, when we look at it now, it makes zero sense. The progress that you had made, what you were able to do on the field. Do you mind just sort of talking about it?
When it comes to that, I tell my people, I never talk to nobody about it, but like that's when the lockout had happened. You remember we had the lockout at that point, and I was young. When people go to the combines, they go to like other places to train. But coming out of college, I was hurt, so I never got to do that. So I really technically didn't know that's what people were doing because I never did it. It's no excuse though, but I never went nowhere and trained because I was hurt rehabbing in college. Yeah. So like now, ever since that day happened, I said that'll never happen again. Every off season, I go somewhere and train. But before then, I never knew. I thought just me being young, I could get away with it, But you live and learn.
I see. And like we now know, the Cincinnati Bengals become your home for the next 5 seasons, I believe. Now, while I do want to get into like playing there, what was it like just as a person, as an athlete? It seems like every year you're on like a 1-year deal. How do you kind of get it all together when you're like, hey, this might only be my home for 6 to 9 months, and then it's that same cycle on repeat for the rest of your NFL career. Like, what's that like?
Hey man, y'all boys did y'all research on this one, did you?
Yeah.
Every time, man.
We always
time.
do it, yeah.
It's nice though. I like it, man. But because like I said, people don't really ask me stuff like this. But yeah, the one of your deals, man. Basically, man, I was fighting my whole career, so it got to the point I got accustomed to it. I didn't mind it, man. I'm just gonna grind it out, but we're not complaining, man. But of course, I always felt like I deserved something a little more. But the Lord blessed me with the 1 year deal, so I just made the most of it.
Yeah, I'm sure it kept you on your A game, right? Knowing that you always had to earn the next one.
Yeah, man.
Now, just high level, you go to Cincinnati. You're there for quite a while, of course, but going from what you knew in New England, how much different was it going to, now having Marvin Lewis as your coach and, Andy Dalton, AJ Green, some great guys that you're playing with, but what was that culture change like for you?
Well, it was definitely different. I would say, the culture, the city, the people, it was just different, man. It was a big adjustment for me that I think it ended up panning out for me. We went to the playoff 5 years in a row. AJ and Andy when they was there, they was rookies, so they was just now learning. So the team was young, so we all kind of grew together,
Yeah, and I mean, you're there for 5 years, and you leave as their all-time return yardage leader with with just shy, I think, of 5,000 yards. So I mean, you went there, you did your job. It's very obvious why you kept getting those deals. But ultimately, though, you're now forced to go to Buffalo. So I kind of skipped over this with Cincy, but you were like right after your time with the Patriots. It seemed like you were there the next day. Do you remember what that process was like, trying to figure out the next step? And then also, what I was getting to now is Cincy, 5 years there. What's the next step? Yeah. How did you approach free agency and, just trying to figure out, what was next for you?
Well, the way I approached free agency, I mean, I technically wasn't trying to be one of them guys who bounce around every year. So I was definitely trying to, sow my seed in Cincy. But, I mean, like I said, I had a fiance and a son too. Like I was telling you, from college, Then I had my other son. So it was a big transition for me, man. Just the NFL, man. I learned a lot on my own. I didn't have like the big brother or the person that showed. I never had that. So pretty much everything I learned, I went through basically on my own. Just me, my wife, now, and my kids, man. We just learned on our own, which made me a better person.
Yeah, no, I'd imagine that's it's really Corey Jackson was a guy that we just had on the podcast, and he said that the NFL was essentially a business internship for him because he just all this stuff is thrown at you, and you get to learn the business world while also being an athlete.
Right.
Yeah, and obviously doing everything for your family at the same time.
Right.
Similar though, when you get to Buffalo, they immediately put you as the return guy. How, at this point in your career, how do you feel about the fact that, yes, you have caught touchdown passes, you are getting reps at wide receiver, but you're not really getting to really play receiver? Was that something that was very important to you to get out there and be able to have those reps? Or were you more sort of leaning towards, I'll do whatever they pay me to do? Like, how do you balance that in your head?
Oh man, when I got to Buffalo, even at Cincinnati, man, like my opinion, I played a lot of receiver. I mean, AJ Green, but I outplayed a lot of them when it come to camp. But I was always labeled as the kick returner. You know what I'm saying? But I've been fighting that. I've been trying to fight against that the whole career to the point. Like when I got to Buffalo, I was just like, man, I'm just gonna do this return thing and just stay ready for a receiver. I know I can do it. Even in practice, I mean, I know I can do it. But I was just labeled as a kick returner.
At 6'1" too. I mean, it's not like you were a short guy. I mean, you definitely had the size for it. I'm sure that you've thought about that once or twice.
Yeah, and that's interesting too, though, right? Because I feel like a lot of those guys, like the Devin Hesters, the Dante Halls, the guys who have that return ability, they're immediately put, hey, you're going to return, you'll play wide receiver, maybe. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I'm just curious, like, if you're because I mean, we were watching the clips before we jumped on here, and like when you got the football in open speed, it's now kick return mode, right? And now you're making people miss in space. Yeah, so like you have that ability. It's interesting to me, at least, that a guy who has that much ability in open space, why not get him the football in open space by throwing him the football? So that's why it always kind of boggles my mind that the guys like yourself, like Devin Hester, is like those guys were always a fourth and fifth option for receivers.
Yeah.
And they weren't.
And then when I got in the games, I caught the ball because I knew I wasn't gonna be out there again. So every time I'm trying to catch every ball. So I mean, I made plays when I had my chance. So
it was a highlight reel. It was. It was a highlight reel. I see you diving catches, everything, right? It wasn't like you were bobbling the ball, like circus catches. It was crazy. So, I
think that's why a lot of teams probably like me because the grit I had. No matter what the circumstance is, I always rose above it.
At the end of the day, when you look at your stats, it might not be all the numbers that you want and stuff, but there's a reason that a guy has a long career, right? It's like if you weren't, you would have gone in year 2 or year 3, you would have just faded away if you didn't have it. So like the proof is in the pudding for you to continue to, get that next 1-year deal. And then, after Cincy, moves on, Buffalo's right there waiting, and then, that short stint that you had in the Saints too. So outside of just the opportunity to play again, was there ever anything in particular that you were looking for your next team? There was no sort of like role or opportunity. Was it just sort of, hey, this is the next best thing that I can do?
Well, for the next, whatever they need me to do, I'm to that point. Cause like I said, this will be year 10. I'm definitely trying to get back into year 10. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. We might be talking like this again very soon. So y'all just stay tuned, man. Yeah. But I'm definitely gonna try year 10. And then if if or when I get on the team, I'm just gonna come in and try to play the role of just trying to talk to the younger guys, about saving your money, talk about the lockout. Cause like I said, they never preached that until it happened. Talk about the lockout that's coming up. Just raise some awareness to them, man. And then just show them the game, man. Just try to help them out.
That's awesome. What a great approach and perspective that you could bring too. Well, of course we know they're trying to get back in, but until that happens, as we've seen, the Tate, is it the Performance Center, Athletic Center? What exactly is the name of your gym that you've opened up?
Oh, it's the Tate Training Center, man.
The Tate Training Center, which is located, of course, in Kentucky, where you are. What was it like, for you to, how did that decision come to be? How did it come to light? And, if anyone follows you on social media, we know that there are kids in there all the time. You're constantly working and training.
Yeah, man, it came about because, like I said, I got my boys, and they getting older, man. So, and they say they want to do sports. They ain't got to be football. They just say they want to do sports. And, I felt like around here, it ain't no, I mean, it's some good places, but it ain't, I ain't trying to talk bad about them, but I just want to come here and just show the kids the real experience and what it feel like. If they want to be great, I'm gonna show them what all it takes to get there, mentally and physically.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right, well, Brandon, the last segment that we have is what we call the Gauntlet. I got a couple quick questions for you, and I need your knee-jerk answer. Right. What is most important, having the number 1 offense or the number 1 defense?
Nowadays, the number 1 offense.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Now, did you have a pregame ritual that you stuck to when you were out there?
Well, every morning I try to eat light. It's a mental thing. Just try to be light. Just eat oatmeal and bacon, and I'm ready to go. When I eat the oatmeal and bacon, I'm ready.
Oatmeal and bacon. I love it. Love it. Now, out of the time that you've played it, and of course, the door's not shut, was there one coach, or is there one coach or one player that you just would have loved to have the chance to line up with or play for?
Well, Bill Belichick, the best, man. Like, if I could talk to him like one-on-one, I would tell him, man, I appreciate everything he done for me, taking the chance on me coming out of college. And as far as the game, he really taught me the game and the business side of it. So I definitely salute him for helping me out in life. Very cool.
And do you have just a favorite football memory?
I would say in Buffalo when we finally made the playoffs. When we went to the playoffs that time, it's like 20 years before they made it, man. Like that was felt like a Super Bowl win. How all the fans was like crowding around the airport and all that, man. So I had to say in Buffalo. I think it was 2017.
Yeah,
2017.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome for a fan base to appreciate that so much, and for you as the athlete to really feel it too.
Oh yeah.
Now, what's most important? Is it the players or is it the scheme?
I would say the scheme, because I would say the scheme, because if you got a good scheme, you can pretty much put anybody to fit that scheme.
Yeah,
i.e. the Patriots. I'm just saying.
there's no right or wrong answer there. And the last one, the one I just want to end on with you, is if you had one piece of advice to a young athlete out there that's looking to make it and have that same type of journey that Brandon Tate had, what's the best piece that you could give them?
Man, you got to keep working hard, man. Even the people gonna say whatever about you, they're gonna doubt you. Even your own friends or family might not believe in you, man. Just stay focused on who you are, know yourself, and just keep pushing and keep grinding, man.
Awesome. Great. Well, yeah. Brandon, we're going to be sitting tight, hoping to see year 10 happen for you. We'll make a couple calls. We'll see if we can help. But until then, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. And if nothing else, we're looking for big things to come from the Tate Training Center.
Yes, sir. Hey, you make sure you stay tuned for that. We're going to definitely be producing some college athletes real soon, man. You stay tuned now.
Oh, we'll stay in touch. We'll make sure to follow up, and we'll get them on here to help promote them too.
For sure. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, Brandon.